Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Lost Thunder is on PTCGO now, so I'm going to start providing good old deck analysis videos with battles in them at the end, just like usual. So today is going to be Alolan Exeggutor. It's an archetype a lot of people are excited to see. Obviously, some people have tried it even before Lost Thunder came out with like a Sableye engine, trying to get energies into the discard pile. Now we have Shuckle to make that a lot smoother. And we even have this nice Sceptile package, which provides good consistency with Grovyle and a good couple tech attackers for a number of matchups. So Alolan Exeggutor seems to have got a big buff from the Lost Thunder expansion, and it does have some pretty interesting traits towards it, making it a bit of a pain to deal with for a bunch of different archetypes. So let's jump into the list. Exeggcute has 50 hit points and a nice Hypnosis attack to bear in mind, trying to keep your guys alive if possible. And Alolan Exeggutor is our main attacker of the deck. A 160 hit point stage 1 non-GX is so frustrating to deal with for a lot of different decks. It has this Tropical Shake attack, which does 20 plus 20 more for each type of basic energy card in your discard pile, but you can't add more than 100 in this way. So you want 5 different types of energy in your discard pile to max Tropical Shake out at 120 for 1 grass energy. Pretty efficient attack cost. And now that we have Shuckle, it's so much easier to get this damage rolling. What do I mean when I mention the Shuckle? Well, it's this fresh squeezed ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards, discard them, then shuffle your deck. So it's just like Battle Compressor, that amazing item card that we still haven't expanded, but it's exclusively for energy cards, but it fits right in with this deck, especially because we have the new Netball in the expansion as well, which allows us to get the Shuckle into our hand a lot more consistently, so we can get those energies into the bin. We also do have Energy Drink, which is an attack that you do need to bear in mind in case you come up against mill matchups. You get to attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like, so you do actually have an out to beating mill archetypes thanks to the Shuckle's Energy Drink attack, so bear that in mind. Then we have this 2-2-2 or 2-2-1-1 line of Sceptile. Because we're not playing Professor Elm, I'm going for the 70 hit point Treecko. The 60 hit point one does have a good attack that can let you search for grass Pokemon, but I feel like you're just taking the sack. Like you're letting your Treecko get knocked out in that regard, and I don't like it so much. I would prefer to have a 70 hit point Pokemon, especially because there's so many spreading archetypes roaming around at the moment with Malamar's now playing Giratina and Spell Tag and stuff like that. I think the 10 hit points is especially important. Also things like Ninetales and Decidueye are roaming the ladder right now, so more hit points is always good for survival. Then we have the awesome Grovyle with that Sunshine Grace ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass Pokemon, reveal it and put it into your hand. This can help us get into our tech Sceptiles if we need them, but also just can streamline the Exeggutor so that we can chain them a lot easier. And then we move into the one-ofs of the Sceptiles themselves. Power of Nature on this Sceptile is why we play this guy, preventing all damage done to your Pokemon that have any grass energy attached to them by attacks from your opponent's Ultra Beasts. So the new Blacephalon archetype is very exciting. Naganadel is being teched into a lot of different decks as an attacker as well as an accelerator. Buzzwole is obviously being paired with Lycanroc and Ninetales, so there's a lot of things that we cover here. Lots of things with Ultra Beast tags, even some Malamar decks, you can block some of their attackers as well, so lots of different things we cover. Sceptile can be a real pain to get around. If you can attach a grass energy to him and also to your Alolan Exeggutor, you pretty much protect your main attacker and himself from being dealt with outside of things like Plumeria, which is like a tech card some people are having to put in now that this Sceptile is becoming much more relevant. Then we have the Sceptile-GX. He also can help out a few different matchups. He has 230 hit points, so is very tanky. He has the Mac Cut for 60 damage for a single grass energy, discarding a special from your opponent's active Pokemon. This can be pretty nice against Zoroark, to be honest. It can set up damage counters for you because oftentimes your Alolan Exeggutor is looking more towards the 2-hit KO, so Mac cutting them is going to help slow them down and force them to find more DCs and stuff. And sometimes you can out-resource them, which is quite funny to do, because they can't really deal with 160 hit points on Alolan Eggs, so you can get into a 2-shot war, Mac cuts can come in there and start removing energy and make it more awkward for them on top of all that. He also has a Leaf Cyclone attack, which for 2 grass is 130, and you can move a grass energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench, so it can move on to more Exeggutors, which is really cool for you. And again, it hits a nice 130 baseline. Exeggutor actually caps at 120, which is a little bit frustrating because there are decks like Granbull out there. So having the Sceptile in here, as well as 2 Kukuis that I'm choosing to play, can improve our Granbull matchup, because of course Sceptile can't get one-shot by it either, so that's a good thing to note. And finally, the Jungle Heal GX is probably the main reason this guy's in here as a sort of tech. You get to heal all damage from each of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached to it, so as I mentioned, the spread archetypes, when I said that we want to have the high hit point Treecko, now we have a GX attack that can like wipe a load of damage off of our board. And that's going to be really awesome for us when we're up against these sort of spreading archetypes. So the Sceptile is a nice one off to have, as it can deal with Granbull, with Leaf Cyclone, and just being a good 2-hit KO tanky Pokemon in general. Matcut as well, dealing with some special energy reliant decks, and that Jungle Heal helping out against spread as well. So really versatile GX Pokemon that's worth having a 1 space, because you never know when he could come in handy. Rounding out the Pokemon, we're going to play 1 Ditto Prism Star. It has the Almighty Evolution ability. Once during a turn, you may put any Stage 1 card from your hand onto this Pokemon to evolve it. So that's going to be either Exeggutor or Grovyle, so you're always happy to see your Ditto hitting the bench. Obviously, we don't have much search for it outside of Ultra Ball, but when you see the Ditto, you're always happy to find it. It's an extra basic that we can keep evolving into, which is awesome. And finally, 1 Oranguru for that instructability. I've tried a few different archetypes, or a few different renditions of this sort of build. I actually started off with a Zebstrika line in here, and ended up opting for an Oranguru instead, just for spaces more than anything else. But this deck does try and get like Grovyles going online quite early to get lots of Exeggutors out, but that's not really drawing you many cards. So Oranguru here and there can instruct us into better hands, which I'm much happier with. So that's a nice one-off inclusion. Onto the item cards, I'm going to play 1 copy of Palpad. One thing that really interested me about the Japanese list, that it only played like 2 Guzmas, and I felt like putting in a Palpad was a good reason, or like it's a good reason to put in a Palpad, because I also mentioned Kukui earlier with the Granbull, so having 2 copies of that plus Palpad can improve our Granbull matchup as well. So rather than this being just an extra Guzma, I felt like the Palpad was a good inclusion. 2 copies of Stretcher. We are having to recycle our non-GX as much as possible, sometimes getting back our Grovyle line as well at times. Obviously going to be important to make sure we can keep chaining our attackers. 4 copies of this awesome new Netball, allowing us to search for a basic grass Pokemon, which is already very good, but we also have the option later on in the game to search for a grass energy, or even early game if we're just whiffing on energy. We play 7 counts of grass, so now having 11 outs to get attacking with our lone egg is no bad thing. So Netball is very versatile and very strong for grass decks. 4 copies of Ultra Ball going to help us find the rest of our dudes. As soon as our Grovyle starts getting online, it's going to be much easier to get our stuff out regardless, but Ultra Ball can help out in these early circumstances. Onto the supporter line, Kukui, mainly in here for Granbull. It can also just help reach, because we are having Shrine ticking over, we have Choice Band, stuff like that. Kukui can help us just get that little bit more damage and surprise people with our Alolan Exeggutor, get things into knockout range. Sightseer is another great new supporter from this set. You can discard any number of cards from your hand and draw until you have 5. So this is really helpful for us. We can thin a lot of cards that we don't need. Any of our tech Sceptiles that we don't need in a matchup. Just start binning extra energy cards that we've drawn into or haven't been able to shuckle just yet. Has nice synergy here, and we can also just get rid of like excess shrines or whatever if we're up against other non-GX variants like Granbull or Buzzgarb or stuff like that. So definitely worth playing 2 copies. 2 copies of Guzma. It feels really uncomfortable to only be playing 2, but the Palpad is sort of pseudo available here for extra switching and helping in that regard. Then we're going to play 3 copies of Lillie, a really nice early game and just in general for topping up the hand size. 4 copies of Cynthia for that nice shuffle draw, obviously the best supporter that we have. Then we're going to have 3 copies of Shrine to improve our damage output, and 3 copies of Choice Band as well, trying to do the same thing, pushing that 2-hit KO to sometimes reach on things like Lele's, maybe even Zoroarks if the Shrines have been in play for long enough. So that's definitely something worth noting, and other basic GX Pokemon. So that's going to be really helpful for pushing our damage output that little bit further. And the energy is always going to be wacky when you're playing Alolan Exeggutor. They actually make no difference in this deck because we only ever use grass energy to attack with Exeggutor or Sceptile or Shuckle, and then colorless for Oranguru. So 7 grass, and then pick your favorite of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other basic energy cards that we play. You can maybe try and put people off with some sort of typing in some direction, maybe like a lightning energy or like a dark energy or something that you could get benefit out of. Like, you definitely want to play the fire energy because people play Heat Factory, Prism Star, but I think that's the only one that's like guaranteed useful. Potentially there are other ones that you could think about playing, but the fire energy is pretty much like the only one that you should be playing because you can get usage out of it, but I think that's the extent of it. Tell me if there's anything else we can abuse with these basic energy cards. I just stuck to the ones that was used in the Japanese list, but pretty much I think the fire energy is the most important one that you have to play as your random one-offs, but that's about it. So let's jump into the ladder now and have some games with Alolan Exeggutor. As I said, I've had a few different renditions of it. I have felt that the deck can be a little bit slow and a little bit clunky setup-wise in the early turns, but if you can get over that initial hump, the deck becomes very powerful, and we just stonewall some certain archetypes. So there's definitely something towards this build, and it's definitely worth investigating a little bit further because there's a lot of power behind it. And even before Lost Thunder came out, people have experimented with this deck with Sableye and like Marshadows and stuff like that. So if people have seen success with way worse builds, it gives you a good idea that this has some potential behind it. So we actually gained 3 mulligans here, which is pretty insane. We are going second, and it looks like we're up against potentially a mirror match or a straight Sceptile deck. Straight Sceptile is definitely a bad matchup for us because we're looking to two-shot a lot of the time, and they're probably playing a lot of heal. If it's a mirror, going second's not great, but we'll see what happens. They attach to the Treecko. They have themselves a Netball. Gonna find another Treecko, so probably a straight Sceptile deck. Lysander Labs, wow. Okay. Interesting tech card. Oh, it's a Sceptile Decidueye. Well, we've got to hope that their Clunk is going to be a way that we can beat them here, because on paper this is going to be a really horrible matchup. We're going to try and find ourselves a Treecko. We already have a Grovyle in hand, so that just makes sense. We're going to use another Netball here. Our Sceptile won't be too good. Neither of our Sceptiles are going to be great here, so I think I'll just get one Grovyle down. Just get lots of Exeggcutes and try and evolve them before Decidueyes, like loads of Decidueyes on the board. We can use Fresh Squeezed quickly and put some energy in the bin. Again, when you're using that Shuckle, you probably want to keep the Fire Energy as your last discard other than Grass Energy, because you can get use out of Heat Factory. Obviously in this matchup we won't be getting use out of it, but he is a stage 2 deck, so there's potentially a reason to not attach there's potentially a reason to still attach active here. But I think I'm going to plant on the bench, seeing as though the Ram isn't going to do too much. We do have the option of putting another Treecko down. I don't hate it. There's nothing else that we really need to put onto our board. We can save the Ultra Ball for the other stuff. And yeah, looks like we're passing it there. Not a bad opening for us. We've got a lot of basics down. That's always a big hurdle for this build. But we're just in a bad spot in terms of our matchup that we're up against right now. If he does just go for like an army of Grovyles here and miss Rare Candy, we could still be in a reasonable spot. We could get the jump on him as if we've been the one going first, but we'll see how it goes. He could just be getting an army of Grovyles and then getting out a Dartrix, for example. I imagine if he's also playing Decidueye, he probably plays Rare Candies though. I can see an Ultra Ball getting rid of a Sceptile, so maybe that's an indication of a whiff of a Candy, so he's just going to get the Grovyle army out. Going to evolve onto the bench, use his first Sunshine Grace. Lysander Labs, wow. Was not expecting to see that card in a deck like this. I guess it kind of can help the tanking aspect of the deck, but other than Life Forest, I didn't see a natural fit for any other stadium in that deck. I mean, he's playing multiple stage 2s. I'm really surprised he has the space for other stadiums, like luxury stadiums, I guess you'd call it. Let's see all these Grovyles doing their thing. Yep, does exactly what we said. Grovyle army grabs the Dartrix straight afterwards. And a pass to us. So we can go Grovyle, grab our other Grovyle that we know is in deck. Then we can get ourselves a Alolan Egg, and then we can Ultra Ball for another one. Get rid of the other Shuckle. We already have energy in hand. So let's get all of our egg boys down. We don't need to Kukui just yet. We probably will need to when he's got all the stuff out. So we'll save the damage for later, I guess. And we'll just go for the Tropical Shake. At least dealing with one Grovyle off the bat isn't too bad. We really need to try and find our 2 copies of Guzma as soon as possible to stop him getting like loads of Dartrix out. Oh, sorry, loads of Decidueye. Wow, I placed Super Boost. Insane. I guess it's worth it if he's playing this many stage 2s. Got that Ditto. You see 2 Sunshine Graces. I imagine it's just for a Decidueye and a Sceptile. There's that big rainbow Sceptile, looking powerful. We might actually want to mat cut that Super Boost away. We'll see, we'll see. Does the Cyclone get rid of any? Yeah, so. That's pretty chill. And there's that Sunshine Grace for another Rowlet. His board's looking pretty intimidating compared to ours. No bounce of the stadium just yet. We can't afford to allow him to have the Life Forest for too long. So that's another thing we need to bear in mind. Just can see the Leaf Cyclone. Our tanky Exeggutor does hold on for now, but it's in range of a Decidueye ping anyway. We actually do find our Sceptile. So let's use our Grovyles, thin out our deck. Evolve up our last Eggy boy. And now that we actually have no grass Pokemon remaining in our deck, I don't think there's any reason to not evolve these. At least this one. It has like no difference, but it's just more hit points. This one we won't put in play just yet because of Shrine. So I guess we just do this. I'm going to play Kukui for extra damage, see if it is relevant. Choice Band is going to be nice. We'll just go for a Tropical Shake. Straight off the bat. If he's got all these Decidueyes, I wonder how much space he has for healing. That's really going to be an interesting question. Basically the question whether or not we can beat him. How much healing he is able to fit into his list if he's playing Decidueye as well. If he's had space for Lysander Labs, they might have space for anything. Who knows at this point? Gonna see a Rescue Stretcher. Get back that Grovyle, I guess. I'll get back the whole gang, okay. Start pulling it out straight away with the Grovyle, I guess. Grovyle into Dartrix, or Decidueye if he has candies. Can even evolve the Ditto into a Dartrix, or into a Grovyle if he wants to. That is the awesome versatility of almighty evolution. There's that Life Forest straight out the gate. It does mean that we can get our heal off. Decidueye pings 1, and then we can send up the other Alolan Egg and survive, because he can't rare candy the Ditto. That's the only, like, I guess, downside to the amazing ability that it has. We can get a cheeky heal so he can't do the same, like ping twice. Like he can ping attack this turn, but if we get the heal, he has to like attack. I'm gonna see that first Feather Arrow. He is gonna deal with our active. Yeah. I wonder if it'll ping a bench target rather than the active. He gets to 150, then we heal 60. So it only really makes sense if he can evolve his Ditto this turn into a Dartrix. Otherwise, he should probably just ping the Shuckle. Ah, it pings this. Shuckle is the easiest knockout he'll get, though. Huh. Okay. He's gonna go into another Sceptile-GX. And leave Cyclone. Did he forget to ping? Oh, no, he put it here. I thought it was he forgot to ping just because it was such a useless ping. Okay, let's not forget to heal our dude. Let's put that in. I guess while I still have the chance, I should get our last Exeggcute out. Because again, that Ditto can't be candied, so we can't just simply ping down this egg, which I guess is something. Right, we're doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 100, 110. So the Kukui is going to be nice for that last push. Won't take the knockout, but it's going to force him to heal. Coming back into our turn. So if he doesn't heal this turn, we're doing stuff. But he could always just use his GX attack as well. Another option for him. I mean, it's just so awkward. This matchup feels like a losing battle. Yeah, Acerola. I think that's, like, at this point, it's the concede button, right? Sceptile just completely bodies this deck with that much healing. He can Hollow Hunt back an Acerola as well, so I feel like we'll just get out of there. Not the matchup that we're after. A straight Sceptile deck. Especially with Decidueye. If it was just straight Sceptile, we'd have a better chance because they can't knock out our guys quite as efficiently. But they've gone for the whole shebang. The double thick stage 2 line. So let's see what else we can run into. I see a Garchomp coin. I'm immediately suspicious. Oh, is Garchomp better with Ninetales? Oh, PogChamp, please. I'm pretty sure the fighting Garchomp is weak to grass, but the dragon one is not. Obviously, so it's gonna be another awkward matchup for us. Does the Fairy Tales break this deck? These are the questions we have to ask. Fairy Tales is busted after all. They're going to get a Lillie here. After already quite a nice start. Yeah, that's the dream start, right? No attachment, I guess, is the only complaint you can have. When you go second, you have to be safe and get another egg down. We also have an Ultra Ball, which I'll use this turn. Don't really want to get rid of Guzmas when you don't have to. Seeing as we only play 2 copies. Let's get our little Ditto down. The boy. Got ourselves another Ultra Ball, which isn't a bad thing at all. I'm going to grab ourselves a Treecko at this point. Don't mind benching the Guru, that's fine. I don't think I'm attaching. We can potentially deny a beacon, but... Actually, you know what? This might be correct. Yeah, let's go for this. Trying to deny beacon, I guess, is worth. Especially because they didn't have an attachment last turn. Now they do. They're going to evolve into that Fairy Tale so they can get some Candy Chomp action going. They might have to get Candy and Switch here. Candy Timeable, so they're just trying to set up, I guess. The good news is there are now 2 GXs on the board, so hopefully Shrine can start ticking up and we can get the fave. Oh, they just hit double tails. That is a big old feels bad, man. They still have a rare Candy Garchomp. I guess the timers were just for the Lucario action. They're going to spend a Cynthia here. Looks like they're done. Okay. My cat just started making a really weird sound. I wonder why that is. Okay, let's get into another game. So far, we've just had to concede to a Sceptile, and a Garchomp could have been awkward, but I think by him putting two GXs down, we could have had the edge still. Another concede, I don't know why. Okay. What's going on with this ladder? Hey? Who knows? So let me know in the comments what you want to see tomorrow as the deck analysis. Obviously streaming tomorrow as well, so I'll be testing a bunch of different stuff. You can see it already. I've tried out some Desi Tails on our last stream. I've tried out some Zorora, Blacephalon, Buzz, Rock, Tails. I've been trying all sorts of different things. But because I'm commentating Brazil, it means I don't have the stress of other players right now, so I can play a broad spectrum of things quite casually, which is good for the channel because it gives you a variety. So it's all working out pretty well at the moment. We're gonna have to do a top 10 video pretty soon as well for Brazil because it is sneaking up. It's pretty close now, huh? So I really don't envy people having to test out the stuff for realsies. We're just here for the fun. Up against, don't know what this is. Ninetales can be in so many decks. Sudowoodo, Guru. Is it a Vikare that plays Ninetales? Yeah, possibly. Lysander Labs seeing way more play than anyone ever expected, huh? Okay, get their first Ray down. A bit of Candy, and get an attachment in. And a Lillie for 8, feels good, man. Man, their board is full of not Rayquaza though. And typically a Rayquaza deck wants to fill the board with, you'd guessed it, Rayquaza. This boy's a bit annoying though. We want to have as many eggs down as possible. Need to spend a space on a Shuckle as well, so potentially because of the pseudo we won't actually put the monkey down this game. Again, we have to go by the rule that going second, you pretty much always have to put an egg down, a replacement egg. Let's Ultra Ball. Get ourselves Ditto. Stop the beacon. Well, their hand size is already so insane. Get to replace the stadium, which is nice, and we get to Shuckle, which is also pretty chill. Thinning the deck from some bad cards. No sign of any of our stage 1s though. We're going to have to do a big Sightseer next turn, it looks like, as we pass it over. One cheeky Shrine ping. We should be able to win the Stadium War against a Ray. They typically play 2 Lysander Labs max. Then we play a switch, get an attachment in. They're going to use another Ray, guaranteed to hit energy. They're just going to go charge a bug. Okay. The damage doesn't matter too much, as long as they get it next turn. They'll always be able to deal with us. So, there goes the first prize. Let's send up an egg. I think it's a Sightseer still. We'll get rid of the entire hand. You get one Exeggutor. Obviously with the dead hand, we want to put some supporters back in the deck. Improve our top decks while we go for a Tropical Shake for 150. And this is what I was talking about, where you can have those early awkward turns. We've missed out on Grovyle, unfortunately. Wow, he put a stadium in before we put our shrine in. That's really good for us. So our next shrine should just stay in play now. They've gone for a blower as well, so that feels like everything. Oh wow, they're doing this just to get one instruct to try and get... Wow, they're whiffing on V-curve so hard. Ah, there it is. Volkner can get them Ultra Ball. Looks like the instruct did the job. And finally the Vikavolt comes in, so that he can get the KO on this active with the strong charge. So we are in top deck mode. So I think I'm promoting Shuckle here, because I probably want to just Gust anyway. Actually, you know what? We promote Ditto. No, we promote this. We promote this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we did it. That's why you promote this guy. So in the good case, you can actually potentially get out of it, but looks like we're getting a Ram KO. Oh yes. Well, technically it's a Shrine KO, but drawing us a couple cards. Bailed out by a good top deck there. By promoting the egg, it meant that we could Guzma into our Shuckle. If we promote the Ditto, we need to find a thing every time. An Exeggutor every time. Promoting... Yeah, like, so in the top deck scenario, which did happen, we could have hopefully have got into an Exeggutor, which we didn't. But in the case that you don't top deck, you can go into the Shuckle, We're still living by the skin of our teeth right now. Next turn we can finally Ultra Ball for a Grovyle and then get Exeggutor and put an Execute down, so we've just about got there. He is going to keep munching through our guys though. Wow, he plays the Lugia GX, that's insane. We're doing 120, 134, 150, 160, 170 with the Kukui. So it's actually probably better for us just to Lillie to try and find a Choice Band instead. Probably better for us. That's Lillie for 5. No Choice Band. But we can get another egg down. Good thing about this list is that it is strictly a non-GX deck if you want it to be. Like, you can't just randomly start your Sceptile-GX. You only put it into play if you want it in play. They're going to Guzma BUS, which is no bad thing, because I don't want to attack the Ray, I want the Shrine to deal with it. They're going to go for Recycler. Put some energies back. They're going to Strong Charge. Onto this big old Lugia. It can hit 170 when it needs to. They're going to go for the first attack. Oh no, they're going to go for the second attack. Which is weird. Okay. Let's netball. And Kukui. Putting stuff nice and in range now. We're just a couple tropical shakes away. Well, not even. We can just let Shrine do the work now. We're a Shrine tick away from winning, and we have a spare one in our hand. We know that they've played 2 Lysander Labs and a Blower. So it looks like we got there, unless he plays some wacky heal. There's nothing to indicate they'll play wacky heal. If he's made the space for Alolan Ninetales, I don't think he's got space for heals. I don't think Acerol has ever been in these lists, right? I'm going to just play a Cynthia. I feel like it's Cynthia into concede. Unless they have the wild tech. Yeah, there you go. He's going to lost zone our guys. What a stylish way to lose. Alright, let's get one more game in, seeing as we've had 2, like, random concedes. And let's see what we're up against. Fire Psychic means we're probably up against Blacephalon. So it's going to be interesting to see if they have the Plumeria tech or not. If they do, it's a lot less crippling for this matchup than it is the Sceptile-GX matchup, because if they do the Plumeria, they're still probably only taking 1 prize against our dudes. So us trying to get this Ultra Wall going, Or Power of Nature, not Ultra Ball. I don't know where that came from. Is that the, is Ultra Ball the stack attacker ability? I want to say that's what it is, but yeah, Power of Nature. We want to try and set that boy up. We've got a nice Lillie start. We've got Netball and Shuckle. We've gone second, I think, every time. Other than the concedes. But we can live with it. There's our favourite clown boy. I'm going to attach the fire energy off the bat. Choice Band, sure. Treasure. Unless they need a supporter, they might start going for some Poipoles here. The non-GX Naganadel is absolutely insane, might I say, by the way, from my early testing. The card is just silly good. As an attacker, it's silly good. And obviously the synergy in this deck is ridiculous. Yep, it looks like they have an opening Sightseer. They're going to get rid of 2 more fire energies. Feels like a good start for them. Fires hit the bin and then get charged up onto all these Poipoles and then get lost zoned by Mind Blown. Another grass energy really sucks. We have to stick to our policy of getting extra executes down. Let's do our fresh squeezing. We definitely want to keep the fire energy in the deck, but looks like we prized our fairy, so we can't get the use out of Heat Factory. Feels bad, man. We'll attach to the bench and draw 5. So a Shrine is not bad. We also pick up an Ultra Ball, which is going to be really helpful. I kind of want to just get an Oranguru here. I mean, how bad is it just to get an Exeggcute? Just to... I mean, we're not attacking for enough, really. I guess we should just do this. So again, I go back to that fragile early game that we've experienced. We are playing more supporters than most traditional Exeggutors. Typically they play a 1-1 Lurantis line, but we're playing 2 Kukuis instead for extra draw power. But still having those dodgy turns. They can choose to do a Mind Blown or a Burst GX to take their first prize here. Probably want to do the Burst. Probably want to do the Mind Blown because it removes a Pokemon off the board. They get themselves an Ultra Space. We can't take advantage of that in any way. They get themselves another Naganadel, so they're going to get 2 charging ups going, which is a very lazy name, but very accurate for what you're doing. Charging up. I guess because it gets any type of energy, they had to be kind of generic with it, but there you go. Do they have a turn attachment? Yep. So here comes the Mind Blown. And where do they want to get rid of? They're going to do it from the back. Thinking that they can't get knocked out. Probably correct. Especially with this hand. We do have 2 Alolan Egg boys though. Should we shuffle the deck? I guess we should. Tactical shuffle of deck. It's that moment where we peaked at our top deck and it was a Cynthia. Feels bad, man. Okay. The biggest problem here is that the Naganadel will always have a turn to hit 160 against us, which is definitely a problem. Because that can make the prize trade a little more awkward. But we have just got into this bad hand. They are going to start putting down another GX though. Ah, feels so bad that we had to get rid of our fire energy. Give me that value. Oh well. Poor fire energy. One day it'll work and you'll be happy that I've talked a lot about it. All the Naganadels can do their thing. It's getting an overwhelming amount of energy on the board. It is a selling point of Blacephalon. It is so straightforward that it gets what it wants to do done a lot of the time. I guess in this situation he at least removes one energy from the active. If he removes two, he runs the risk of us not taking the knockout. Yeah. So he keeps one on the active. We're definitely in a bad spot, though. We need to top deck right here. Ugh. The juice. Not the juice that we're after. Pick up a Sightseer, but we don't really want to discard Grass or Exeggutor, which kind of sucks. Running dangerously low on attackers. He might be able to just simply announce attacks to beat us at this point. All of our answers are rooting around in the deck. We weren't able to get a Grovyle into Sceptile into completely safe. I guess we have a few turns to try and get it happening though. We still have like 3 chances. We need to hopefully get like both Treeckos down this turn. That's pretty much what we need to do. To just wall him out. Okay, there's one. Okay. Comeback is on. Take a little drink of some energy. So, Shuckle gets knocked out. Then we go Grovyle, then something else gets knocked out. Then we go Sceptile and hope that he can't ever Plumeria for game. I guess what we have to do is just have two grass energy on our active, and then 1 on all of our bench. Is he going to go for the egg? Oh, that's good for us. That's actually genuinely good for us. It would be so funny if we could clutch this game. Have to pay retreat out of one Naganadel to go into the other, so he can use charging up with it. Because it is his 3 prize turn. It is the turning point of the game. Which is going to be a terrible pun that you'll have to hear on commentary. Wait. Okay, so they have a manual attachment. Okay. Okay. Let's get that shrine into play. Oh, we can't get our other Grovyle. Oh no, we can just lose now to a Guz. Oh, they played 2 Guzma. Let's hope they can't get a 3rd Guzma out. So we just attach a second energy here. Use energy drink. Attach a water here just to have retreat options. Completely revealing our scheme. This would be a hilarious way to come back. I mean, this is the whole point of the Sceptile line. Sightseer is not Guzma. They need to start attaching to a Lele realistically. It's going to keep B-stringing more energies out. They've got rid of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maybe they don't actually have enough to energy drive us. That would be amazing. Surely they know what's happening, right? They know what's coming. You'd think they'd know. Just the powerful storm wall. 9, 10. Well, okay then. There's a storm coming. And it's powerful. Reads the ability. Hits the concede button. He's running out of deck. Oh no, is attaching the water energy on the Shuckle going to be the way we lose? Oh no, we always need to have one energy on it anyway, so I couldn't not do it. So do they have a 17th energy and a Guzma? They promoted the Lele. So maybe they don't have a Guzma. There's the energy though. How much are we doing? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 15. We need Choice Band. Come on, Choice Band. Don't let me down. Oh, poggers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We also needed the netball. Holy. Is it the clutch? I think we just won. I think we did it, team. You have a good deck. Oh, he can do that. Oh, I'm so upset. Oh, that feels bad. The bait. We got absolutely baited. Okay. Well, that does give an indication of how you can win with the Sceptile. It's just that we didn't, obviously. That's some extended BM. Crazy. Oh well. So yeah, if you just set up your Sceptile before losing 5 prizes, you can win. Excellent news. But yeah, that's Alolan Egg in a nutshell. We were a little bit janky, and that's kind of the thing that I've experienced with the deck. That's my biggest sort of withdrawal from it. It is a little bit clunky getting set up. Once you get those Grovyles out, everything starts working, but it's just a 2-2 line to begin with. So potentially you can try out an Elm list and go back to the 60 hit point Treeckos. That's definitely something you could consider. Especially because Elm gets 60 hit point Shuckles to the hand to play them down. So potentially that's a build to explore. Obviously the first list that I took was based on the Japanese list more than anything else. Because that's where we pretty much have to take all of our testing from. Because it was a 1,000-player tournament and it got very far. So let me know what you guys thought about this list, and are you going to be playing an Elm engine instead? Or what else are you doing to adapt this Alolan Egg build? Do you think it's better or worse than a straight Sceptile build? I'd love to hear all your discussion down below. Well, that's it for today, guys, and we'll be back with another Lost Under deck soon.